I am Johnny Massacre and welcome to my world. Tonight, here is my review of The Fantastic Four. So, no one in their right mind would have anything good to say about this film. And I'm not exaggerating at all. It really is that bad. So this film is the end of Pedro Pascal's career. He plays Mr. Fantastic and he's supposed to carry the film. And he doesn't just fail, but he nosedives. It is awful. His acting is just incredibly bad. It is so low energy. Oh my God. The director should be raked over the coals for this movie. So this film, what is the theme? The theme is space and also childbirth. It's set in New York City. It has a 50s aesthetic. Is the film woke? I know you want to know the answer to that. So yeah. So they gender swapped the Silver Surfer. A new character is introduced called Lynn Nichols, who is the chief of staff of the Future Foundation, which is a group created by the protagonist Reed after realizing that solving the world's problems requires nurturing the next generation of geniuses, not just punching bad guys. So that's ran by a woman, a black woman in 1960s New York, when at that time basically white males occupied every single position of power. But it's okay because this isn't really Earth, it's an alternate Earth 828 to be exact. And other than that, there's quite a lot of diversity in the film, but does not really work beyond that. Okay, so the film starts off. Sue Storm is preggers. She's the wife of Richard Reed, Mr. Fantastic. And Mr. Fantastic's suit is on the floor. It's not lost on me the disdain that these characters have for their suits. Batman locks it away in some kind of cryogenically sealed chamber. But these fuckers just throw their suits on the floor. They don't care about their suit, bruv. And that's a pretty good metaphor for how the director approaches this film. So the movie opens with some kind of twist on a typical Tonight Show, and that serves as an introduction to the characters and a montage. So it turns out that 4 years ago, man and women, they say, conquered space. And when the Fantastic Four conquered space, the four main characters, their DNA got altered. And so the Fantastic Four is just a group of superheroes. It's a dude and his wife, his best friend and his brother-in-law. And the fucking characters in this film, man, this is the most low energy performance ever. It's actually, it beggars belief how at no stage in the shooting of this film did someone say, can you guys actually try to act or just give some energy? Every single character, especially the men, they're so meek. It doesn't matter what the line is, whether they're saving the world or professing their love for someone or anything. That's how they speak every single line. The Thing is such a meek... I'm going to get this video so demonetized. He's such a meek pussy. He's such a pussy is the Thing. Oh my God. He's this big hulking dude. He should be funny, wisecracking, kind of typical New York Bronx dude. And he's just such a cut. He's so meek. Oh man. And his voice as well. He should have some deep brooding voice. He's got such a soft voice. Everyone just comes across as tired and depressed and meek and milk toast. My God, is the Thing a missed opportunity. He should be big, clonking beast man, and he's an absolute puss. Super low energy puss. You just don't care about the characters right from the start. So Susan, whatever her name is, Sue Storm, she's preggers. She's pregnant. So now you've got all these really annoying dad scenes where Richard Reed is imagining what it's going to be like to be a father, and he's such a puss as well. He's, I'm scared, or everything could be so difficult. So this guy is the leader of the Fantastic Four. He's such a puss. Then they get a transmission from outer space, bruv. But they can't understand the transmission. So it's a bit of a science fiction cliche, radio signal from outer space, can't understand it. And they basically spend the whole film trying to work out what this radio transmission is. So then they have all this dialogue in the film, and it's almost as if they're trying to copy Pulp Fiction a bit, have this natural conversation that's not really related to the plot, but it kind of tells you more about the characters and sets the tone of the movie and makes it kind of relatable and weirdly sort of believable and grounded. It's like somebody tried to do a fan fiction of Pulp Fiction, but they're just depressed and not very good at writing the script. They introduce some ginger character in it who you don't see until right at the end of the film. There's loads of weird stuff like that, like characters come in and you never hear from them again. Then the Silver Surfer comes into the mix. He's been gender swapped. So now it's a woman. It looks like a T-1000, and she says, your planet is marked for death. And Galactus, the great devourer, can't be stopped. Okay. Silver Surfer fucks off, but not before leaving a message in her native tongue that the Fantastic Four cannot understand. They try to put some humor into the film at various points, and it is B-movie bad. It really is. It's just not funny in the slightest. You've got a horrible script, and you've got the worst, lamest attempts at humor mixed together. Recipe for disaster. The Human Torch kind of fancies the Silver Surfer, so there's lots of little jokes about that, and it's a bit of a subplot, this romance that doesn't go anywhere. It literally doesn't go anywhere. One chance to add a bit of heart to the movie, they just get rid of it. So they make a joke about this, and the Human Torch, is talking about his alleged love for the Silver Surfer, and he goes, oh, I see what you guys are doing, speaking to the Fantastic Four, and says, Johnny loves space, Johnny loves women, Johnny loves space women. There's supposed to be a joke. What? Like, what? What? Who wrote this film? Okay, so let's go find Galactus. So they get new spacesuits, and they're really, really colourful, bruv. Now in the film, the scriptwriters are too lazy to go past the brainstorming session where they wrote with chalk on a blackboard the themes of the film. So instead of illustrating the themes of the film through dialogue or through action or through subplots or through any of that kind of stuff, they just tell you what the themes of the film are. So they literally spell it out. They say space, ideas of discovery, mystery, adventure, the unknown, fear, radical change, without showing you any of that stuff. The dialogue is actually just reading out the brainstorming session. So they say, follow the herald, follow the herald. You're not actually supposed to say that it's a herald. So what is a herald? A herald is an archetype that Joseph Campbell talked about in his book, The Hero with a Thousand Faces, that George Lucas read and then created Star Wars, directly copying that. And in that book, he explains the herald archetype, which is the character which brings you across the threshold. You're not supposed to say, this is the herald. You're supposed to just make that clear from the events that are taking place on the screen. But they can't be asked to illustrate that. They just say, it's a herald. Follow the herald. So they follow the Silver Surfer. They go to Galactus. And, okay, this is where the film really starts to get ridiculous. So the main character, the female character, she's preggers, bruv. The Fantastic Four commit involuntary manslaughter by taking a heavily pregnant woman into space. That in and of itself is a horrible idea. You know, when astronauts are in space for even a month or more, it can have serious, long-lasting, detrimental effects on one's health. Imagine taking a woman, even who's just pregnant, into space, let alone heavily pregnant, let alone to go and see omnipotent, malevolent force supervillain Galactus. And it's not as if they don't know that Galactus is a threat, because they actually say that he's a threat and he's dangerous. And Mr. Fantastic takes his heavily preggo wife, bun in the oven, about to pop, to go and find this supervillain. Okay, I don't understand why you are doing this. This is insane. So the Fantastic Four are now committing involuntary manslaughter. They know Galactus is dangerous. They call him dangerous. They even call him a space dragon. And they even talk about having to punch out Galactus. But they decide to bring heavily pregnant wife along with them into space as well. Okay, bruv, let's just keep rolling with it. So they launch a rocket to go to space. Where do they launch it from? Do they launch it from a remote area so the rest of the city doesn't get torched in a giant inferno? Nope. They launch their fucking giant Elon Musk SpaceX Art Deco rocket from the heart of New York City. But just go with it, bro. Go with it. Okay. So the Silver Surfer is in a planet, and then the planet blows up. The dialogue here is holy shit, dude. You could have given me 27 seconds to write a better line, and I would have given you 10 better lines than this. Pedro Pascal literally says, when he's not groping up the lead female actress off camera, who's also preggers in real life, weird enough, he says,
"What the hell is happening to that planet?"
In his low, cucked tone, he says,
"What the hell is happening to that planet?"
Would you write that if you wrote a script? Planets blowing up, Silver Surfer's inside it, going to see Galactus.
What the hell is happening to that planet?
Okay, he fucking says, okay, fine. Then he says,
it's all gone. The whole planet.
Honestly, Pedro Pascal says that line with the enthusiasm of Kamala Harris and her androgynous stepdaughter after taking 40 milligrams of Lexapro. They're in the spaceship. They follow the Silver Surfer after the planet has blown up with the heavily pregnant wife. What could possibly go wrong? Into Galactus's spaceship or something, and it looks a little bit like something from the Matrix. Galactus will see you, says the gender swapped Silver Surfer. Galactic girl boss. This is actually the worst strategy ever, right? I do not understand how the Fantastic Four managed to be productive enough and intelligent enough to build a giant skyscraper in the middle of New York City if their strategy for taking out a guy who they know is malevolent, who has the power to destroy planets, is to just walk onto his spaceship with your heavily pregnant wife and just fucking see what happens. Honest to God, bruv. I've got Sun Tzu's Art of War strat up there. That is like page 1 faux pas, bro. You do not go into battle with zero strategy, especially walking onto your enemy's turf. You're supposed to take the measurement of the land and then calculate your strategy from that, the distance, the terrain, the weather, all that kind of stuff. They don't know anything about this guy's spaceship. They know he's malevolent. They know he probably wants to kill them. And they walk directly towards Galactus. I still don't even know how the fuck they got there, but they did. Okay, fine. Let's keep... Man, this film... We reviewed Superman last week, and this film makes Superman look like a combination of Goodfellas, Yojimbo, and Star Wars. It is that bad. It is that bad. Okay, so they go to Galactus in the Matrix. It looks like, where is it? Who cares? Doesn't matter. Worst strat ever. Walking through this hellscape directly to the bad guy. And what does he want to do? He wants to hurt the pregnant wife. You should not take your pregnant wife to Disneyland, let alone giant Matrix lava-ridden hellscape with a guy who rules over it, who you know is dangerous, and you already called him a space dragon. Surprise! He wants to get your bitch. So... He says he wants the baby of Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm, whatever her name is, doesn't matter. You can't reboot this franchise, Marvel, Disney. You can't reboot it. You're so desperate to world build. You called this movie The Fantastic Four First Steps. And I see what you did with the baby theme, but the baby's really fucking annoying. They casted the most annoying baby. They even have a scene with the baby crying. You know what they do to train SAS members, the most extreme form of mental torture? They force them to listen to babies crying for hours on end. You don't put babies crying for extended periods in movies. They did it in this fucking film. Galactus wants to eat the baby, wants to devour the baby because it turns out the baby has the power cosmic. Now you get more of the worst dialogue ever. Pedro Pascal goes, "You'll never have our son." The little shivery, twitchy, coward cuck. Oh, God, he's terrible in this film. He's so bad. How did he get this far? What do they have on this guy? So now you basically have the story for the film. Stop Galactus from eating your baby. That's what the plot of this film is. Okay. I see. The Fantastic Four run away and they boss the Silver Surfer. I thought the Silver Surfer is supposed to be extremely powerful, but they boss it. They even kind of boss it into the lava. There's lava at this point. So it does certainly remind you of Terminator 2, and you do not want to be reminded of such an amazing film when watching such a terrible film. This film is actually the polar opposite of Terminator 2, and you're reminded of that because basically Discount T-1000, Galactic Girl Boss, she gets thrown into some lava and shit. Ironically, the graphics on the Discount T-1000 are worse than the original Terminator 2, which now is literally 35 years old. I'm not exaggerating. It looks worse than the original film. More terrible, terrible dialogue, this time from The Thing. Hang in there, Sue, I'll get you home. You're driving a fucking spaceship, bruv. There's a black hole. Got to get away from Galactus, who wants to eat your mate's baby. Hang in there, Sue, I'll get you home. No. Hang in there, Sue, I'll get you home from The Thing. This guy's massive, bro. He's supposed to be a beast. Whatever. Okay. Honestly, this guy's delivery is no different to a random guy you just pull off the street and not even ask to deliver the line like an actor. Just say, can you read this for me? Yeah, hang in there, Sue. I'll get you home. That's the line we got from The Thing. So there's a black hole now, but we need some kind of stakes. Okay. So now the movie already is fucking ridiculous, right? But okay, it starts to jump the shark here. The T-1000 is now in their ship, and she tries to put her hand through Sue Storm to grab the baby from the womb, but she doesn't because reasons. Now Johnny, the Human Torch, I feel filthy that we share a name. He's driving he's on the turret, and this is a throwback to Millennium Falcon. Stop reminding me of better movies. They get rid of the Silver Surfer somehow. And this is the part where the movie gets very, very silly and properly jumps the shark. So the woman, she starts giving birth. She doesn't like take her fucking pants off or anything. Like, how the fuck? And she's like floating. She hasn't taken her pants off. And she's somehow giving birth. And then the Thing appears with a pair of forceps. And he's like holding them, and the forceps are too small. Like, I've seen those things. They're like horror movie big clamps, right? When they take the baby. He's got this tiny fucking, my first Fisher Price chemistry set pair of forceps. And he's holding them next to her. And then the babies come out. But there's no juices or like discharge. It's just baby's just cleanly. What the fuck is going on at this point? You can't have put that in the film. So she's given birth somehow with her pants on. The Thing's turned into a nurse. He's trying to deliver the baby with a pair of forceps, but then it's suddenly out. There's no juices or anything. The baby's out there. She gives birth on a plane. The involuntary manslaughter charges have now been fully upgraded to manslaughter. They took a pregnant woman to a hellscape with lava and Galactus. There's a black hole. They don't have enough fuel to get home, so the Thing says, let's do a slingshot, and they go around the black hole. Who fucking cares? Just because you say you don't have any fuel doesn't make me give a fuck, doesn't really add stakes. I don't care about the characters. They're really unlikable. The script just throws you out of the film with every single syllable uttered from the characters. So the baby has a CGI hand. It looks terrible. What the fuck is going on? They go back to Earth. The Fantastic Four wheeled out in a press conference in front of the press and a bunch of the public, and they admit that they couldn't stop Galactus because Galactus wanted their child, so they couldn't give the child to Galactus. The crowd then starts baying for the baby's blood. Are you serious? I mean, this is probably the only authentic thing about this movie, which is that the libtard New Yorkers are devastated that they couldn't kill this baby up until or beyond the moment of birth. You've got this liberal New York crowd who are like, why didn't you kill the baby? What the fuck is wrong? What? You wouldn't say that out loud, but all of New York wants this baby dead. Okay, fine. The leader of the Fantastic Four, Richard Reed, whatever his name is, I've told you he's a meat cuck. Dude, this guy is not a leader. He's up there, sorry, we didn't quite manage to get Galactus. They're trying to turn men into little bitches. I don't think Pedro Pascal's really like that. You've seen him. He's trying to shag everyone's wife, right? He's blatantly an alpha to get that far. They absolutely emasculated him in this film. Absolute pussyo up there on the stage. Sorry, guys, couldn't get Galactus. So Galactus is coming now because he's coming. Because he couldn't get the baby because they wouldn't give it to him. But New York wishes that the baby was dead. Man, this film is just so unlikable. This is horrible. So then Pascal's explaining to Fantastic Four how to kill Galactus with his blackboard. Again, I really shaky her. Maybe we can do this. Maybe we can do that. Doesn't come across like a leader at all. I don't trust this guy. Then they work out what the Silver Surfer's game is, because from one small sentence that the Human Torch Johnny remembers, which is, quote, die with yours, end quote, they managed to extrapolate 3 words to an entire alien language and then worked out all the alien transmissions coming from the Silver Surfer. So die with yours, you couldn't work out a whole language just from translating those 3 words. You couldn't. You simply couldn't. How would you? But anyways, they work out 3 words of an alien language and then they translate the whole fucking language. Grammar, syntax, everything. They worked it out and then they can work out what the plan is from the Silver Surfer. Okay, fine. So the Silver Surfer is basically a slave from Galactus. She was some smart woman and Galactus enslaved her, and now she has to do his bidding, and that's why she's helping him to like blow up all these planets and stuff like that. Okay. So the whole world wants to kill the Fantastic Four because they didn't sacrifice their baby. This is really part of the story. The world is rioting, of course, liberal London rioting that they didn't kill their child. They didn't feed it to Galactus. Okay. Randoms in the street bullying the cucked Thing, saying, we got lives too. Tacitly asking Thing why his friends didn't kill their baby. Okay. So fucking hell. Sue Storm takes her baby out into an angry mob. Again, the disregard for human life, not just human life, but a baby's life in this film is extraordinary. Takes it out into an angry mob and then just fixes it all and gives a terrible speech. And everyone goes, oh, it's fine. Okay, fine. I understand why you didn't feed your baby to this galactic tyrant. All right. So, we're coming to the end of the film now. The Fantastic Four have to stop their baby being eaten by Galactus. Okay, fucking hell. So the end of the film, if you thought the whole giving birth on the spaceship thing was fucking stupid, you ain't seen nothing yet. Okay, let's go with this one. So the end of the film, there was this weird subplot, which was barely mentioned before, easily forgotten, where they're trying to teleport an egg. So the main character works out how to teleport an egg, and then he extrapolates the egg to planet Earth. And he says, do you know what we're going to do? We are going to bring Galactus to us, but before he arrives, we're going to teleport the planet Earth to another galaxy, and then Galactus will not be able to find us. That is really his plan. He's going to teleport Earth, but there's not enough power to teleport Earth somewhere else. Do you know how they're going to generate enough power to transfer Earth to another galaxy? They're going to turn off the fucking light switches, bruv. So, if you want to talk about leftist, green energy scam, Trojan horse for communism, ESG funded agenda in a movie, let's fucking go. Direct quote from the Fantastic Four First Steps. Quote, a worldwide energy curfew only works if everyone does their part to conserve electricity. They're fucking getting us ready, bruv. When I heard that line, all I can imagine in my head was CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink, doing the McMahon meme over and over again, like creaming himself in his chair when he heard that. Mate, how much did they pay them to put that fucking climate change line in the film? Everyone has to turn off their light switch at exactly the same time to generate enough power to transfer the Earth. Mate, you could just transcript what I'm saying now and put it into AI and it will come up with a better plot in 2 seconds. That's what's happening. This WEF climate change propaganda is so bad that it actually makes North Korea into the good guy. The one country who always turns off its light switch is now the good guy by the twisted logic of this godless film. Okay, let's keep going. They're actually saying they're going to transport the Earth to another galaxy. So that implies they're going to preserve the Earth as is with a new star, a new sun, including preserving the climate, the seasons, photosynthesis, atmosphere, ocean chemistry, everything. To do that, it's not just like fucking, I don't know, switching this chair for another one, bruv. You're switching the planet Earth. Even if you could get the Earth the same distance to the new star as it is from the current sun, that assumes the new star is identical, right? If the new sun is slightly hotter, then basically everyone's going to die a flaming death. And the Earth will turn into a fucking microwave or a snowball. This is actually the fucking plot of the film. I'm not fucking kidding you. We are going to move the Earth to another galaxy, and we're going to do it by turning off all the light switches at the same time. Okay. Do you know what the mother does next? She agrees to use her baby as bait to draw I don't care how much of a lack of value you put on human life. Even in a fucking stupid science fiction movie like this, you cannot have a benevolent protagonist mother agreeing to use the baby as bait. But that's what the mother does in this film. Silver Surfer, she comes down to Earth and scuppers the Fantastic Four's plan to transfer the Earth to another galaxy by destroying the teleporter. So now they have a new plan. The new plan is to create a giant wormhole in the middle of New York City, and they need Galactus to walk into it. So what they do is they're going to use the baby as bait to draw Galactus to this black hole. And then, I quote, they're going to send Galactus to the far edges of the universe because he will have no spaceship. Okay. Galactus comes down to Earth, and they've made it so fucking obvious that this is a trap for Galactus. They made it so fucking obvious. They even draw a big red triangle that Galactus has to walk into. There's a character in it in the beginning called Mole Man who's supposed to be an antagonist, but they convert him and he becomes a good guy. And later on he comes back, and Mole Man has taken the entire population of New York City underground. So Galactus, how is he not going to know that this is a fucking plot? He's a super genius. They've put like a big red triangle where he's supposed to walk into. No people are there. Suspiciously, everyone is gone, which means even a dumbass could work out that the Fantastic Four, or at the very least, the authorities, are planning to do something and have anticipated his arrival. And you've got Mr. Fantastic. He's waiting with a fucking mobile laboratory by the black hole portal thing, and he's got his hand on a lever waiting for Galactus. Galactus is a cosmic level genius, a being who transcends mortal intelligence. He's smarter than the Fantastic Four have cooked up this plan. He's described in the comics as having knowledge spanning billions of years, multiple realities, and the fundamental laws of existence. Direct quote from the Fantastic Four number 262. I am Galactus, mine is the power and knowledge of 1,000,000 worlds. I've walked across the surface of our suns. I've watched the universes boil away into nothing. I have known the minds of gods and devoured them. So this isn't just intellect, it's omniversal awareness. He's not just smart, he's divine scale cognition in humanoid form. This motherfucker walks onto New York, nobody's fucking there. There's a massive red triangle and Mr. Fantastic's waiting there with his hand on a fucking lever. This is in the story of this film. I can't be asked anymore. So, Human Torch burns Galactus's eyes, and then he switches the baby's little pram thing with an empty pram and puts the pram in a building and leaves the baby unattended. Leaves it with their shitty comic relief robot, hoping that Galactus won't notice. It's pretty fucking obvious, mate. Galactus works it out. Galactus gets the baby. Everyone gets screwed. Then the woman, she suddenly becomes ridiculously powerful and pushes Galactus into the portal. The fuck? If she's that powerful, why don't you just... I don't know. You could have killed him ages ago. She's super powerful, super OP all of a sudden. He goes in the portal, then he comes back out of the portal, the black hole. Then Johnny, who really wants to off himself, he's obsessed with suicide. True heroes do sacrifice themselves for the people, right? He goes to push Galactus back into black hole. I fucking hate this film so much. But then the Silver Surfer appears and she pushes Galactus in, getting revenge on Galactus, closing it. Sue Storm, whatever her name is, she's dead because she used too much power. And then they bring her back to life. How do they bring her back to life? The baby touches her. That's pretty much it. Instant revive. The movie at the end, all the Fantastic Four are going to go on to the same Tonight Show that the film started off with. They're bookending. But it's not the Fantastic Four, it's the Fantastic Five, because you've got this baby with the power cosmic. And then all the Fantastic Four or Fantastic Five leave before they can even do the show because there's danger out there. They're going to save the world again. Then right at the end of the movie, it ends with a joke about fitting the baby buggy or whatever you call it into the Fantastic Four vehicle, which ironically is a metaphor for the whole movie. Fitting this dead franchise into the MCU. Fucking hell. This film was bad. I knew the film was finished within the first 20 minutes. And really, the acting was super bad. Heads will roll. Pedro Pascal, you might just get your wish. You might just never see that bastard again. Director's never going to work in Hollywood again. This film definitely won't be popular. When I went to cinema, dude, I slept 3 hours and woke up early to bring you this review before other people. Went to cinema in Shinjuku. There's loads of people in the Tokyo cinema, and I thought, wow, Fantastic Four, Marvel's, Disney's back. Then I realized they were there for some other fucking movie at 8 in the morning. That's how much this movie is going to fail. Definitely going to fail. Again, cynical attempts at world building like the Superman movie last week, but fucking hell, it's 10 times worse than that. No one's going to want to see more of these characters. Oh god, the acting is bad. The male characters just emasculated. Just are pussies. They're just so unlikable, and they're a disgrace to the male race. It's disgusting. It's like a giant kick in the balls to every single man. Is that what men are supposed to be like? Is that what a male hero should be like? It's as if the movie on purpose is trying to make men into like pathetic weaklings. A massive waste of time. So the best thing about it was probably the Avatar Fire and Water trailer before that, which was actually kind of shit. But this film was so bad, it made that more entertaining than the entire Fantastic Four film in and of itself. So overall, I give this film, out of 10, 2. And maybe that's being generous. So there you go, everyone. Fantastic Four review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider donating. Streamlabs.com/Johnny Massacre, Patreon.com/Johnny Massacre, or PayPal.me/gimme-a-hell-yeah. Your donations help keep the channel running, and they fund cinema tickets to terrible movies like this, so I can warn you before you make the mistake of going out and watching it yourselves. Cheers, everyone. Good night, take care, and see you soon.